Hey, let's make a video about Dad's spaghetti sauce. I've never written it down, been making it for years. It's really good. Even though it's still basically summer, I'm gonna make a sauce because don't have to just make it in the wintertime. Anyway, homemade spaghetti sauce, Dad style. I make a veggie heavy sauce, so let's start with a glass of beer and a green pepper, almost a full onion, about 2.5, 3 stalks of celery. I'll probably use 3 carrots, 1 zucchini, about a quarter of that cauliflower, a handful of mushrooms, and canned tomatoes. I've got a large can of tomatoes diced, a smaller can of tomatoes diced that are fire roasted, small can of tomato sauce, small can of tomato paste. It's a lot of tomatoes actually for a big pot because that's a really big can. 28 ounces. So this is a full pot spaghetti sauce I'm making with these ingredients. Okay, all the veggies are prepared. This is mushrooms. It's like a handful of mushrooms, green peppers, onions, and garlic. These 4 items are going in first because they need to sweat off and give off great flavor. Then the zucchini and carrots. Notice the carrots are grated, and equal parts celery and cauliflower. Those are the veggies going in the pot. In the pot, the first thing we do is we brown the meat. I have a 1/2 pound of hamburger along with a 1/2 pound of sweet Italian sausage, and I've taken the skins off the sausage, so we're gonna brown all of this up nicely. Important is to drain off the excess fat. It comes from the burger. I'm gonna turn the fire off. I'm going to drain off the excess fat. Using a spoon and being really careful because it's hot. Okay, so the meat has been browned, just browned, and I'm going to grab the vegetables, the first layer of vegetables, and add to the meat. I drained off the excess fat. Put all these. Oh, the pot is smelling super good right now. It's got onions, peppers, garlic, mushrooms. With the meat just browning lightly. And the aroma is like picking up. Woo! Smells good. Let that go just a couple of minutes. And add in the tomatoes. Okay, the onions and the green peppers are translucent. I'm starting to pour in the sauces, the tomatoes, and include the sauce. Include the whole tomatoes, tomato pastes, and fire roasted diced tomatoes. Stir that all up. Okay, so I've got the tomato paste, the tomato sauce, the fire roasted tomatoes, and the big can of tomatoes stirring in the pot with my meats and my pet veggies. And it's really, really wet, which is fine. These veggies are also going to give off more moisture. It's not all the veggies, it's just that first batch of veggies. Once this sort of comes up to temperature, we're going to add in the balance of the veggies. Okay, this pot is back up to temperature. This is where my sauce varies from everybody else's. This is where the bulk of the veggies come in. So it's the celery and the cauliflower. It's the carrots and the zucchini. And we're going to stir that all in. Veggies in here. So I'm a little heavy on the veggies today. I must admit, I'm looking at it right now. It's a little heavy. But that's okay, because you'll see what happens. We're going to let this cook for a couple of hours. 2 hours, probably. I'm going to cook it covered first. And then uncover it when it's mostly cooked in order to thicken. That is to let the excess water steam out, because it looks thick right now and chunky. But as it cooks, these veggies will lose their water. They'll release it into the pot, and this will become quite a bit more soupy. And I'll want to cook that down, that soupiness down, to keep the flavor but take the moisture off. Okay, that's the mainstay. Next, our seasonings. All right, next is seasoning spices. We've got parsley, we've got dill, we've got basil, we've got bay leaves and oregano, salt and pepper. That's it. The question is how much of each? That part is the secret. I put in what I feel like I need to put in. I like a lot of dill, you know I like dill. I like a lot of parsley because it doesn't have a lot of flavor, so a lot of parsley just gives it the green specks throughout. Basil, less of that. Oregano, more of that. And bay leaves, I put them in about 3 bay leaves. Salt and pepper, about twice the amount of salt that I do with pepper. And boy, this is the hard part. How much of each? So it's going to be a trial and error, taste and test, and you can adjust the seasoning, that is the salt and pepper part, but the herbs and spices, you really want those up front to some quantity to give it some bold flavor and let it all cook in with everything that's cooking along the way. Okay, so the measurements are probably a tablespoon of oregano, 2 tablespoons of parsley, 1 tablespoon of dill, half a tablespoon of basil, and 3 bay leaves. I'm going to stir that all in and let this stuff cook. So we'll check back in with this in a little while. Okay, the sauce is bubbling. See all that moisture on top? That's what we're looking for. That's the vegetables letting off their liquids. Gotten a lot thinner. Getting a little more homogeneous in color. It's been here just about a half hour or so. We're gonna let this go for another hour and a half. So it's been about an hour and a half. Sauce is continuing to bubble, lots of liquid. Everything's looking soft. Alright, so it's too wet. So I'm going to turn the fire up a little bit. I'm going to keep it uncovered and let this cook down now for about another 30 minutes. And with that, it'll thicken naturally, and then we'll eat. This sauce is thickened up nicely. It's very thick and heavy. You can see where the old line was up here. It's now down to there. That means a lot of the moisture has bubbled off, so I'm going to turn it off and let this rest and get the linguine noodles started. I like linguine because it's a thicker noodle, it can hold up to this heavier sauce. All right, now it's time. It's my dad's sauce. That's the bay leaf on a bowl of noodles. And that looked good. Thanks very much for enjoying my video. Maybe I have to taste it. Look at that. Oh yeah. That's how you do it. Alright. Let me know if you have any questions. Where's the Parmesan? Gotta find the Parmesan.